The Andros cluster was a cold, unforgiving corner of the galaxy. Stars burned in distant silence, and the black stretches of space seemed endless. Amid this void, a single ship drifted, carrying a species on the edge of extinction. The Xerelians, with their pale blue skin and translucent wings, had once thrived on a planet bathed in twin suns, but that world had been torn apart by stellar collapse. Their cities, once shimmering with light and music, were now nothing more than memories. On board the vessel, the Xerelians moved with quiet despair. Elder Tarek, one of the few leaders remaining, walked through the corridors, observing families huddled together in tight quarters. Children clutched their parents' arms, their wings folded in nervous anticipation. The ship's hum was the only sound, a constant reminder that they were alive but alone. "We must find a home," Tarek said softly, more to himself than anyone else. "The galaxy cannot ignore us forever." The truth, however, was harsh. The Xerelians had sent countless messages to nearby systems pleading for sanctuary. Each reply was a cold denial. The Galactic Council, a coalition of powerful alien species, had debated their fate and concluded unanimously. The Xerelians were too few, too fragile, and too burdensome. No system would risk hosting them. On the bridge of the Council's flagship, representatives of the most powerful species convened. High above the cluster's central star, they spoke in tones that were sharp and final. "We cannot allow them entry," said Slithar, a serpent-like diplomat whose eyes glimmered with cold intelligence. "Their survival may cost us resources we cannot spare. Let them drift. The universe is not obligated to save all life. Their planet is gone," added a crystalline delegate, voice resonating like chimes. "Are we to be judged by our mercy? Or by our logic? Resources are limited. Priorities must be clear." The decision was unanimous. The Xerelians were denied, their fate left to the mercy of a dark, uncaring void. Back on the Xerelian ship, a young pilot named Lyra stared out of the observation window, watching a distant star flicker and die. "Why won't anyone help us?" she whispered, tears tracing down her cheeks. "We did nothing wrong. We only want to live." Tarek placed a hand on her shoulder, feeling the slight tremble beneath her thin frame. "We have survived worse," he said, "but hope is fragile. We must find it ourselves." Hope, however, seemed in short supply. Days turned into weeks. Supplies ran low. The crew rationed food and water carefully. Fear and despair clung to them like a shadow, and yet in the midst of their suffering, a strange signal appeared on the ship's communications array. It was simple, almost childlike in its form. A single text message blinking on the console. "Come to Earth, you are welcome." The message was unsigned, with no indication of origin. The Xerelians exchanged confused glances. "Earth?" asked Lyra. "Where is that? Who sent this?" Tarek's antennae twitched nervously. "It is in human language," and he finally said, "I do not understand fully, but this is different. It is not a command. It is not a warning. It is an invitation." The word invitation echoed in their minds like a distant melody. For weeks they had heard nothing but cold silence, and now, in the emptiness of space, there was a glimmer of light. After long debate among the ship's council, the decision was made. They would follow the signal. If the message was real, if the humans truly offered refuge, it could save their species. If it was a trap, they would face the void together, with courage or with resignation. The Xerelians set a course for the blue dot indicated in the cryptic coordinates. Their engines hummed, propelling them across light years of darkness. Along the way, danger lurked at every turn. Asteroid fields tore at shields. Rogue comets threatened to puncture the hull. But the human signal acted as a guide, a faint thread pulling them forward through the void. During the long journey, the crew began to talk about humans. Little was known about them. They were considered a minor species, underestimated and mostly ignored by the larger galactic powers. Stories and myths floated in Xerelian culture. Humans were clever, inventive, and surprisingly adaptable. Some said they could survive anything, even the worst conditions, using nothing but determination and imagination. Others whispered that humans possessed a kind of moral courage alien to the galaxy's usual power politics. Lyra found herself fascinated. "Maybe they are the ones who understand life," she said one evening, looking at the stars. "The others, Slithar the Council, they only see rules. Humans, maybe they see heart," Tarek nodded. "We cannot rely on myths, child. But perhaps we need a species like them now." Days became weeks and weeks became months. The journey tested their strength, patience, and unity. Fights broke out in the cramped corridors. Fear made tempers short. But slowly a strange camaraderie grew. The Xerelians were learning to survive as one, preparing themselves for what they hoped would be a safe haven. And then finally, the first human ship appeared on their sensors. It was small by galactic standards, sleek and unarmed. No weapons glinted along its hull. The human crew waved using lights and symbols, a language strange but somehow welcoming. Tarek felt a strange mixture of relief and disbelief. "They are real," he whispered, "and they are not afraid." The human captain's voice came through the comms, calm and friendly. "Welcome. We received your distress signal. You are safe here. Follow our guidance. We will take you to Earth." Lyra's wings trembled. Children clung to parents as the humans guided the ship through a safe corridor in space, avoiding debris and gravitational hazards. For the first time in months, the Xerelians felt the warmth of trust. As Earth drew closer, a pale blue planet glowing in the darkness of space, hope began to replace despair. The Xerelians watched the oceans, the clouds, and the cities shimmering like jewels. They had traveled across the void, rejected by the galaxy, only to find salvation in the most unexpected place. A world whose inhabitants were said to be weak, insignificant, and ignored by the very powers that had condemned them. Yet these humans, small and underestimated, were extending their hands. No fleets of war, no demands, only welcome, only promise. Tarek looked out at the approaching planet, his heart swelling. "The galaxy denied us," he said softly. "But humanity has not." Lyra smiled through tears. "Then maybe, just maybe, we will survive." The journey from the distant Andros cluster to Earth took months, even with human guidance. The Xerelian ship had never traveled this far alone, and the vast emptiness of space seemed to stretch endlessly before them. Stars glimmered like scattered diamonds, but even their beauty could not erase the fear that lingered in every cabin. Lyra walked the corridors, watching the crew at work. Engineers checked systems repeatedly, ensuring life support remained stable. Children giggled quietly as they played hologames projected on the walls, yet their laughter carried a hint of fragility, as if even joy needed careful protection. Elder Tarek moved among them, calm but alert. "Every ship we pass, every signal we detect, we must remember," he told the younger Xerelians. "The galaxy denied us. Only our courage and unity brought us this far. Earth may help us, but we cannot assume safety is given freely." Lyra nodded. "I know, Elder, but I've seen their guidance. They do not act like the others. Humans, they seem to trust us already." Tarek's antennae twitched thoughtfully. Humans were a mystery. Even now, in the uncharted territories between clusters, their guidance was precise. Every hazard, every gravitational anomaly, every drifting asteroid was avoided with care. The Xerelians had expected a test of strength, a demonstration of power, but humans moved like teachers, patient and watchful, leading them safely without demand or threat. One evening, Lyra joined Tarek on the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly, but a tiny blue dot grew larger as they approached. "Earth is beautiful," she whispered. "I never imagined a place like that." "It is not the beauty that matters," Tarek replied. "It is what lives there. The humans. I have seen them act where others would turn away. That is strength, far beyond weapons or fleets." Below, in the ship's common area, the children of the Xerelians were learning basic human language through simple holographic lessons. The humans' transmitted instructions were gentle and playful, teaching phrases, symbols, and gestures. A small girl named Miri laughed as she managed to mimic a human greeting. "Hello," she shouted, her voice trembling with excitement. "Hello, Miri," the human instructors responded over the comms. The sound was warm, reassuring, and unlike any mechanical voice the Xerelians had ever known. The children's laughter and interaction filled the ship with a fragile sense of normalcy, a reminder that life could exist even after devastation. But the journey was not without danger. Rogue asteroids, drifting debris from destroyed colonies, and unpredictable gravitational waves tested the Xerelian ship's shields repeatedly. On one tense day, a large asteroid suddenly appeared in their path. Panic swept through the corridors as alarms blared. "Brace for impact," shouted the young pilot, hands trembling on the control console. But before disaster could strike, a human ship appeared alongside them. Its small engines maneuvered with precision, creating a safe corridor through the debris field. "Follow us." The human captain's calm voice echoed through the ship's speakers. "Stay steady. Trust the guidance." The Xerelians obeyed, hearts pounding as their vessel moved through the debris. Every sharp turn and close call tested their nerves. When they finally emerged safely, cheers erupted in the corridors. Lyra sank into a seat, breathing heavily. "They saved us." "Again," she whispered. "I don't understand how they do it." Tarek placed a hand on her shoulder. "It is not magic," he said. "It is foresight, skill, and patience. Humans see problems differently. They do not react with fear first. They calculate, adapt, and then act. That is why the galaxy underestimates them. They measure strength not in power, but in ingenuity." The Xerelians began to feel an unfamiliar emotion, gratitude that was not forced by desperation, but genuine trust. For the first time, they felt the possibility of belonging in a universe that had previously rejected them. As Earth grew larger on their sensors, the human guidance became even more personal. Small crafts approached the Xerelian ship to escort them through orbit. Drones scanned their hull for safety, while human engineers transmitted detailed landing instructions. Every action was coordinated with care, ensuring that the newcomers were not overwhelmed. In the evenings, Tarek and Lyra would sit together in the ship's observation bay, watching the planet spin below. Oceans stretched like ribbons of light and clouds swirled in gentle patterns. Cities glimmered with energy, yet none of it felt threatening. For the first time, the Xerelians could imagine life beyond survival. One evening, a human scientist appeared on the comms. Her voice was calm, friendly, and patient. "Elder Tarek," she said, "we understand what you have been through. Your journey has been long and your people have suffered. On Earth, you will find sanctuary, food, water, and guidance. You are not alone." Tarek nodded, antennae quivering slightly. "Your words bring hope," he replied. "But we have been betrayed before. How can we trust fully?" The human laughed softly, almost like a melody. "Trust is earned through action, Elder, and our actions will speak louder than words. Follow our guidance, watch, learn, see for yourselves." The words settled in the hearts of the Xerelians. Actions over promises. That was something they had rarely encountered in galactic politics. Usually, species spoke of assistance while plotting their own advantage. Humans, it seemed, were different. During the final days of the journey, Tarek called the crew together. "We are approaching our destination," he said. "The galaxy has denied us. Every council, every system, every power has turned away. But humans have not. They offer us refuge and, more importantly, respect. We must honor this. We must show them that our survival is not just ours, but a commitment to unity and gratitude." Lyra smiled, feeling a strange warmth she had not felt in months. "We survived because of them," she said. "Not just the humans guiding us, but because they reminded us why life matters. We will not forget that." As Earth's orbit loomed close, a breathtaking sight unfolded. Green continents, blue oceans, and white clouds spun beneath them. Cities glimmered like fireflies, yet the energy radiated a sense of order and care. Humanity had built not just for survival, but for beauty, harmony, and coexistence. The human escort ships aligned, signaling landing bays and safe descent paths. Calmly, they began guiding the Xerelian ship through the planet's atmosphere. It was a delicate dance, balancing speed and safety. The Xerelians marveled at the precision, the patience, and the care that humans displayed in every maneuver. As the ship descended, children pressed against the observation windows, faces glowing with awe. Miri whispered, "It's even more beautiful than I imagined." Lyra reached over and held her hand. "Yes," she said softly. "And this is where we can finally be safe." For Elder Tarek, the emotions were complex. Relief, hope, and cautious optimism warred with lingering fear. But one truth became clear. Humans, in their quiet strength and unwavering guidance, had shown the Xerelians that help could exist without hidden motives. That perhaps in a galaxy that denied them, there was a species willing to act with heart. And as the Xerelians touched down on Earth, guided safely by human hands, they realized that their journey was only beginning. The galaxy may have rejected them, but here, on this small blue planet, humanity had proven that courage and kindness could change the course of entire civilizations. Tarek turned to his crew. "Remember this," he said. "We owe no allegiance to the Council or the powers that denied us. But we owe respect and gratitude to those who act rightly. Earth is our chance not just to survive, but to thrive." Lyra nodded, her heart light for the first time in months. Then we will make it count, she said. Above, the stars continued to shine, but Earth shone brighter in the hearts of the Xerilians. Here they were not just refugees. They were a part of something new, something alive and something extraordinary. The galaxy had denied them, yet humanity in quiet courage and deliberate kindness had opened its arms. The Xerilian ship descended slowly through Earth's atmosphere, guided by the humans' expert calculations. Flashes of green forests and shimmering blue oceans stretched beneath them. The planet seemed alive, moving in harmony with its own gravity and climate. Unlike the cold, empty void of space they had traveled for months, the human pilots guided the vessel to a specially constructed landing bay on the outskirts of a coastal city. The bay was enormous but welcoming, designed for species of all sizes and shapes. Its walls were smooth, made of materials unfamiliar to the Xerilians, yet somehow comforting. Lights flickered softly along the corridors, and sounds, muted but structured, welcomed them. As the ship's landing gears touched the ground, a wave of silence fell over the Xerilian crew. They had survived cosmic storms, asteroid fields, and weeks of isolation, but nothing prepared them for this moment. First contact with a species that had not turned them away. Elder Tarek was the first to step forward. He looked around, eyes wide with cautious wonder. Humans were waiting, standing in orderly lines, hands raised in greeting. They wore simple uniforms, practical but clean, with badges indicating rank or role. Some held devices, scanning the ship for safety, while others extended their hands in gestures of welcome. A human stepped forward, taller than most Xerilians, with calm eyes that seemed to see everything without judgment. "Welcome," he said. His voice was steady, clear, and surprisingly warm. "You are safe here. We will help you. You are not alone." Lyra's wings trembled as she stepped down the ramp. Children followed, some clutching their parents' hands. Every footstep brought new sensations. The weight of gravity stronger than they had felt in months. The fresh smell of Earth's air. The subtle warmth of sunlight filtered through clouds. Miri, the youngest Xerilian, ran ahead, curious and fearless. She reached a human child who held out a hand in friendship. Hesitantly, Miri touched it, and laughter erupted from both of them. Tarek smiled, feeling a small surge of hope. If children could connect, perhaps adults could too. The humans guided them to temporary housing facilities designed to accommodate different species. The spaces were spacious, equipped with life support systems adaptable to alien physiology. Food was carefully prepared, nutrient-rich and safe for Xerilian diets. Medical teams worked efficiently, checking vitals and healing minor injuries sustained during the journey. Lyra watched as humans moved seamlessly, communicating through gestures and words. They did not act superior. They did not ask for payment or demand loyalty. They simply acted to ensure the Xerilians' safety. This humility, coupled with competence, impressed her deeply. Tarek addressed his people. "Look around," he said. "We have been given shelter, food, care, and protection. The galaxy turned us away, yet here we are embraced. This is not weakness. It is strength. Observe it, learn it, carry it forward." In the following days, cultural exchanges began. Human teachers and guides explained Earth's languages, customs, and technology. The Xerilians shared their own stories, music, and art, often projecting holographic images of their destroyed world. Humans listened attentively, asking questions and showing genuine curiosity. Lyra helped translate for the children, bridging language gaps with simple gestures and games. Slowly bonds formed. Humans and Xerilians learned from each other, exchanging knowledge and understanding. The children played together in open fields, building towers of holographic blocks, singing songs that mixed human and Xerilian languages. Their laughter was a bridge across species, showing that cooperation could exist even after hardship. Elder Tarek spent hours in discussions with human leaders. They talked about governance, ethics, and survival strategies. Humans were pragmatic but guided by moral principles. Unlike the Galactic Council, whose decisions were based purely on logic and power, humans considered compassion, equity, and the long-term impact of their actions. One evening, Tarek and Lyra watched humans building infrastructure for the Xerilians' long-term settlement. Roads, energy grids, and living spaces were constructed with care, designed to integrate seamlessly into Earth's environment while respecting the newcomers' needs. "How do they manage this?" Lyra asked. "No council, no armies, just kindness and efficiency," Tarek nodded slowly. It is more than kindness. It is vision. Humans understand that strength is not always shown through domination. They plan, adapt, and act for the benefit of all. That is why they survived when others failed. That is why they can welcome us when the galaxy refused. Word spread among humans about the Xerelians' arrival. News channels, educational networks, and local communities shared stories of the refugees' plight. Volunteers came forward, eager to help, to teach, to guide. There were no conditions, no political games, only people offering support because it was the right thing to do. For the Xerelians, it was a revelation. They had expected suspicion, bureaucracy, perhaps even hostility. Instead, they encountered trust, collaboration, and hope. Even the children sensed it. Miri, now fully integrated into a small human school, said one day, "I feel like I belong here, not just because they saved us, but because they let us be ourselves." As weeks turned into months, Xerelians began contributing to Earth's society. Scientists shared knowledge of stellar phenomena, engineers helped improve human technology, and artists collaborated on works that blended their cultures. Humans, in turn, taught them agriculture, medicine, and philosophy. Together they created something new, a fusion of experience, creativity, and empathy. But integration was not without challenges. Some Xerelians missed their lost home, grieving in quiet corners. Others struggled with the differences in human life, the pace, the customs, the sensory overload. Tarek encouraged patience, reminding them that adaptation was part of survival. Humans, too, learned to be patient, listening to concerns, making adjustments, and showing respect for the newcomer's culture. A pivotal moment came when Xerelians were invited to participate in Earth's Interspecies Council, a platform for different civilizations on the planet to collaborate. For many, it was their first taste of recognition and influence. Tarek spoke eloquently, sharing the Xerelian story, emphasizing resilience, gratitude, and hope. Humans listened respectfully, applauding the courage it took to survive against cosmic odds. Lyra walked among human and Xerelian youths at a cultural festival celebrating the newcomer's arrival. Holographic displays showed their journey, their history, and their integration into Earth society. Music filled the air, blending alien tones with human melodies. Food from both cultures was shared freely, and laughter echoed in the open spaces. This is life," Lyra whispered to Tarek. "This is what we fought for. Not just survival, but belonging." Tarek smiled. "And we owe it to them," he said. "Humanity did not have to save us. They could have left us adrift, but they chose to act rightly. We must honor that choice by thriving, learning, and giving back in return." As Earth settled into night, lights from cities glimmered like stars below. Humans and Xerelians alike paused to appreciate the view. In the distance, the Milky Way stretched across the sky, a reminder of the galaxy that had once denied them. Yet here on this planet they had found sanctuary, purpose, and community. It was a lesson in courage, patience, and the quiet power of compassion. The galaxy may have turned its back, but Earth and its people had shown that even in the darkest void, hope could shine brightest. For the Xerelians, the journey from despair to hope was complete. But it was only the beginning. Together with humanity, they would build, explore, and grow. They would demonstrate that the strength of a species was not just in weapons or fleets, but in heart, creativity, and the willingness to embrace others without prejudice. Earth had become a sanctuary for the Xerelians, a hub where humans and aliens worked together to rebuild lives and share knowledge. Cities buzzed with activity as Earthlings learned from the newcomers, and Xerelians absorbed human culture with curiosity and gratitude. For a moment it seemed that harmony could flourish, but the galaxy had not forgotten. Word of Earth's generosity spread quickly through the stars. Some species were intrigued, others suspicious. Rumors circulated in council chambers and space stations across systems. Humans are meddling. Humans are reckless. They are offering aid to those the galaxy abandoned. What is their motive? On a distant star station, the reptilian envoy Slither met with other galactic leaders. The room was tense, filled with species who had long relied on power and fear to maintain control. "They welcome every refugee," Slither hissed, eyes narrowing. "Do you understand? Every species denied entry by the Council is now on Earth. Humans are undermining our authority." A crystalline delegate, voice like ringing glass, added, "Their actions threaten the balance. We cannot allow this to continue. Earth may appear harmless, but influence spreads like a virus. Other species will follow their lead, questioning council decisions. A debate erupted with accusations, demands, and threats flying through the council's virtual communication network. But humans on Earth were not silent observers. They understood the growing tension, yet chose a different approach. Dialogue, transparency, and diplomacy. Elder Tarek watched this unfolding with unease. While Earth offered safety and opportunity, the galaxy beyond was still unpredictable. The galaxy will test them, he warned Lyra one evening. Humans are patient, but patience has limits, and there are those who will not act kindly even if they see truth. Lyra frowned. Do you think they can handle it? They must, Tarek replied. If the galaxy is to learn, humans will lead by example, and they will not compromise their principles for fear or pressure. As predicted, tensions escalated. Some neighboring systems sent emissaries to Earth, disguised as observers but clearly judging human actions. They questioned the legitimacy of Xyrilian settlement, criticized resource allocation, and insinuated that humans sought political gain. Human leaders met them with calm, unwavering clarity. Xyrilians are refugees, a human ambassador explained during a council meeting. We have the means to assist them. That is all. There is no hidden agenda. Our actions are guided by morality, not by conquest or power. The alien emissaries scoffed. Morality is subjective, one said. You risk resources, stability, and influence by sheltering those rejected by the galaxy. A human diplomat smiled patiently. We do not define strength as domination. Strength is measured by courage, innovation, and the willingness to do what is right. You may call it subjective. We call it necessary. Back on Earth, the Xyrilians observed these interactions with awe. They had expected humans to react with aggression, to assert dominance, or to manipulate for power. Instead, humans stood firm with reason and integrity. Lyra watched the negotiations on a large display screen, wings slightly folded with admiration. They are so calm, she whispered. They don't raise their voices, yet every word carries authority. Tarek nodded. That is the power the galaxy cannot comprehend. Humans lead not with fear, but with clarity of purpose. The truth is their shield and patience their weapon. Despite humans' composure, pressure grew. Certain factions in the galaxy threatened economic sanctions and trade restrictions. Others demanded the Xyrilians be returned to exile. Rumors of military intimidation spread, attempting to frighten Earth's leaders. But humans responded with strategy and creativity, not fear. They increased transparency, inviting representatives from distant species to witness humanitarian projects firsthand. Scientists shared technology openly. Engineers demonstrated innovations, and cultural exchanges highlighted the Xyrilians' successful integration. Earth became a living example, a society where compassion and intelligence coexisted, where cooperation outshone coercion, and where strength was measured in resilience, not dominance. In the meantime, Xyrilian children thrived in human schools, participating in joint scientific experiments, art projects, and environmental programs. They were visible proof that coexistence worked. Lyra often accompanied them, helping with language barriers and teaching the wonders of human creativity. One day, Tarek received a message from the Human Council. We are inviting you to participate in the Galactic Observers Summit. It will be a platform to show that your people are thriving and that Earth's approach is peaceful and productive. Your presence is important. The summit was tense. Leaders from multiple species gathered, their expressions skeptical, their questions sharp. Tarek, alongside human diplomats, presented the Xyrilian story, the destruction of their homeworld, the denial from the galaxy, and the sanctuary provided by humanity. We were abandoned, Tarek said, voice steady, and Earth offered hope without demand. Humans acted not out of ambition, but because it was right. They proved that morality, courage, and wisdom are as powerful as fleets and armies. Our survival and growth are testament to that strength, some delegates murmured, unconvinced. Others looked thoughtful. Slowly, the presentation shifted perceptions. Reports of successful integration, cultural exchange, and technological collaboration impressed even the most cynical leaders. Lyra watched the summit unfold, noting the gradual change in expressions. Humans did not attack or insult. They simply demonstrated what they could achieve through integrity, and slowly, respect replaced suspicion in the eyes of many observers. Even Slythar, the reptilian envoy who had once called humans reckless, could not hide a flicker of acknowledgement. They may be stronger than we thought, he muttered to his aide. Humans continued their approach, combining patience with action. They organized interstellar conferences, invited species to collaborate on science and exploration, and encouraged mutual aid across systems. Every initiative was grounded in cooperation, not coercion. Tarek spoke to the Xerelian Council one evening. "Observe carefully," he said. "Notice how humans deal with pressure, skepticism, and threats. They do not react impulsively. They act with logic and heart combined. That is their true power. That is the lesson the galaxy must learn." Lyra smiled. "It is remarkable. I never imagined a species could be so deliberate yet so kind." "Yes," Tarek agreed. "And that is why they inspire hope. The galaxy may test them endlessly, but humanity will endure because their strength comes from within, from choice, and from courage that is not dependent on weapons or fleets." As weeks passed, the tension began to ease. Some alien factions, once opposed, started sending observers to Earth voluntarily, curious about the results of cooperation rather than threats. Scientific collaborations expanded, cultural exchanges flourished. And through it all, the humans remained steadfast, proving that diplomacy rooted in integrity could overcome fear and prejudice. On the Xerelian side, integration deepened. Adults learned human governance, technology, and ethics. Children shared stories and art. Communities formed that blended cultures seamlessly. Humanity's willingness to nurture without expectation had created a ripple effect, changing not just the lives of Xerelians but the attitudes of the wider galaxy. One night, Lyra and Tarek stood atop a small hill overlooking the settlement. Lights from buildings glowed softly in the distance, and the hum of human and Xerelian activity filled the air. "Do you think the galaxy will accept us eventually?" Lyra asked. Tarek gazed at the stars above. "Perhaps not all, but some will understand. And even if only a few learn the lesson, it will matter. Humanity shows that integrity, courage, and compassion are powerful. The galaxy may resist, but the example is set. We are witnesses to what is possible when strength is measured by heart as much as by might." Lyra nodded, wings folding gently. "Then we will continue to learn, to grow, and to show that humans' way works." Tarek smiled. "Yes, and perhaps one day the galaxy will see that the species it underestimated, humans, hold the key to survival, unity and hope for all." And so, under the gaze of distant stars, Earth became a symbol, not just of refuge, but of a new kind of strength. One built on wisdom, patience, and the quiet courage to do what is right, even when threatened by doubt, fear, or galactic power. The galaxy may have doubted, questioned, and challenged humanity. Yet through rising tensions and tests of diplomacy, humans had proven that integrity, intelligence, and compassion could withstand even the weight of suspicion and hostility. Years had passed since the Xerelians first arrived on Earth. What had once been a temporary refuge had grown into a thriving hub of interspecies collaboration. Cities were no longer just human. They were shared spaces where architecture blended alien and terrestrial designs. Schools, laboratories, and cultural centers hummed with activity. The Xerelians had flourished, and humanity had proven once again that their strength lay not in domination, but in compassion, intelligence, and unity. Elder Tarek walked through a bustling plaza, observing humans and Xerelians working together. Children played in the open space, their laughter mingling in a harmony that transcended species. Holographic displays showed the achievements of joint scientific endeavors, new energy sources, improved medical treatments, and innovations in communication technology. Every accomplishment was a testament to cooperation, a beacon of what was possible when the galaxy's barriers were ignored in favor of understanding. Lyra walked beside him, marveling at the scene. "I never imagined life could be like this," she said softly. "We were lost, abandoned, and the galaxy had turned away. And now, look at us. Look at what they've done." Tarek nodded. "This is the result of courage, patience, and unwavering principle. Humanity has shown us, and the galaxy, that strength is not measured by fleets, by armies, or by the ability to destroy. Strength is measured by the courage to protect, the creativity to solve problems, and the will to act rightly, even when no one is watching." Humans and Xerelians had developed a new system of governance for their joint settlement. Decisions were made through councils that represented all species fairly. Conflicts were resolved through dialogue rather than force, and every voice mattered. Visitors from other systems often came to study this model, amazed that a society could function efficiently without coercion or domination. One day, a delegation of galactic leaders arrived to observe firsthand what Earth had accomplished. Some were skeptical, still clinging to the belief that humanity's methods were naive. But as they witnessed the harmonious daily life of humans and Xerelians, scientists collaborating, artists sharing their work, children learning together, the skepticism began to fade. Tarek guided the delegation through a cultural center, showing exhibits of Xerelian history alongside human achievements. "This is what we've built together," he said. "The galaxy denied us, but humanity gave us a chance. They did not ask for loyalty or tribute. They only ask that we learn, grow, and contribute in return. And that we have done." A crystalline envoy, who had once questioned humans' motives, finally spoke. "It seems we underestimated them," she admitted. "Not in power or strength, but in vision and wisdom." "They are remarkable," Lyra smiled. "They always were. We just needed to see it in action." Meanwhile, humans continued to push boundaries in exploration and innovation. They developed new spacecraft capable of reaching distant clusters faster and more efficiently. They shared this technology freely with the Xerelians and other allies, ensuring that no species would be left stranded or abandoned again. Their philosophy of cooperation rather than conquest had begun to ripple across nearby star systems, subtly influencing policies and alliances. Earth became a hub not just for refuge but for learning and innovation. Joint research centers discovered new medical treatments that combined human ingenuity with Xerelian biological knowledge. Cultural exchanges led to art, music, and literature that merged perspectives from multiple species, creating works that inspired awe and empathy across the galaxy. One evening, Lyra and Tarek stood atop a hill overlooking the city. Lights glimmered below, reflecting off water canals that had been designed to support multiple species. Children of both humans and Xerelians ran freely, laughing and shouting in a mix of languages. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, mirrored by the life flourishing below. "Do you think the galaxy will ever accept this?" Lyra asked. Tarek considered the question carefully. "Perhaps not all. Some will cling to old fears and prejudices, but what we have created here will stand as proof. Actions speak louder than words, and humanity's actions have set a standard. Those who are willing to see it will follow, and some already have." News arrived of other species seeking similar refuge inspired by Earth's example. Refugee fleets, previously denied by the Galactic Council, began requesting entry. Humans and Xerelians worked together to prepare facilities, guidance, and support. It was a challenge, but one they faced with the same patience, innovation, and compassion that had carried them this far. Lyra watched as Xerelian children taught visiting alien youths how to adapt to new environments, sharing both survival techniques and cultural knowledge. "We're teaching them what we learned from humans," she said proudly. "And that is the most important lesson. How to live together with respect and courage." Tarek smiled. "Yes, humanity's legacy is not just in what they built but in what they inspire. They show that kindness is not weakness, that intelligence can coexist with morality, and that courage can be measured in how we protect others rather than how we dominate them." As years passed, Earth's influence grew quietly but profoundly. Other species in the galaxy began to reassess their own policies. Some systems that had once denied refugees opened their borders, inspired by Earth's example. Conflicts that had seemed inevitable were now mitigated through dialogue, collaboration, and mutual respect. Yet humans remained humble. They did not claim superiority. They continued to innovate, to explore, and to welcome others in need. Their power was subtle but undeniable, rooted in ethics, ingenuity, and the capacity to act rightly even when threatened. Tarek reflected on how far the Xerelians had come. Once adrift, abandoned by the galaxy, they had found not just safety but purpose, identity, and community. "We were lost," he said, addressing a gathering of both humans and Xerelians, "and the galaxy turned away. But humanity reminded us that survival is not enough. We can thrive, we can create, and we can inspire. That is the greatest lesson of all." Lyra stepped forward. "We have learned from humans that courage is not just in battle, but in every choice we make. Compassion, wisdom, and perseverance, they are weapons of a different kind. And with them, we can shape a future worth living for." The assembly applauded, and for a moment there was pure unity. No species hierarchy, no old grudges. Only shared respect and the acknowledgement of what could be achieved when beings acted with intelligence, morality, and heart. That night, as Earth's moons reflected softly over the oceans, Tarek and Lyra looked at the stars. Beyond the planet, distant lights blinked, systems that had once denied them, that had once condemned them to drifting death. And yet, those systems were beginning to notice something new. A species that had been underestimated, overlooked and doubted, demonstrating a power far greater than fleets or armies. Humanity had shown the galaxy that strength was not just in domination, but in courage, ingenuity, and compassion. They had opened their arms to the lost, the rejected, and the vulnerable, and in doing so reshaped the cosmic narrative. Lyra whispered, "We owe everything to them." Tarek nodded. "Not just everything we have gained, but everything we have learned. Humanity's legacy will endure not because of conquest or rule, but because they proved that doing right is the greatest strength of all. The galaxy will remember this, and we will carry it forward." The Xerelians had found a home. Humanity had shown its true power. And together, species once abandoned by the galaxy now had the chance to build a future that was stronger, wiser and brighter than any could have imagined. The galaxy may have denied them, but Earth, and the humans who called it home, had opened their arms. And in that embrace, a new era began, one where courage was measured by integrity, strength by compassion, and hope by the ability to act rightly, even when the universe had turned its back. And as the first stars of evening shone over Earth, a simple truth became undeniable. In a universe that doubted them, humanity had proven that heart, wisdom, and courage were forces that could change the fate of worlds. The legacy of humans, and the gratitude of those they saved, would ripple through the stars for generations to come.